Thought is a protective mechanism. Thoughts are words. Noise by Krishnamurti. Hello everyone. This is author PB Flower and welcome to the third episode of my podcast. Today's topic of discussion is thought. Now, thought is an unfamiliar word in my opinion. When I say unfamiliar, I mean alien. That is how I interpreted Yuji's spewing on thoughts. A portion of the blurb from my series All Kaal None says the following: the time between all and none is an accumulation of memory at play, made of experiences, thoughts, and ideas of artificial intelligence and native capabilities. And I have also said that anatomically, mind, memory, imagination, thoughts, these are all stemming from the brain. So now the question is, what is brain? Because as per my theorizing in my fictional series All Kaal None, it is nothing but a processor. Just like the computers, where you input information, it processes it, and then outputs it. So therefore, mind, memory, imagination, and thoughts cannot be from us, but they are, again, waves we absorb and interpret, as discussed in my first podcast named Communication. Now, I have also theorized that these are a product of the web of Caesars that recognize the 5 elements that make us. Now, there are 8 elements according to the Upanishads. However, we as humans are made of 5 of them. And if you bundle them up, it's basically matter and energy. And this web of Caesars that I'm talking about is actually the universal mind, which is controlling us using these elements in us, or using the pull of elements in us. So it's discussed in great detail in my book. If you want, you can go ahead and read it. And it's an interesting take, actually. So coming back to thought, as mentioned previously, my main character is an engineered being, and he exists in many parallels of this creation in this book, and he has many names. And he is not infected by thoughts. Yes, infected. You heard it right. It is not like this being can't feel the waves of thought. He can. He can feel it from the universe. He can feel it from another being, but he's not governed by it. So I'm going to be reading another excerpt from my book, just like I do in my other podcasts, and then we will be connecting it to today's topic of thought. So in this, the two characters that I have already introduced in my previous discussion are Zenith and Eklavya. And here, Zenith is questioning Eklavya. So her question is, are you saying we are experiencing this life and not here physically? So to that, Eklavya responds, yes, everything is just a memory made of ideas, thoughts, and experiences. If I feed an idea strongly enough, you will store it as a memory, and you can never know if you physically experienced it. Now, what is going on here is that, again, it's the futility of using words, like I have said in my first podcast, where the discussion topic was communication. Ideas, thoughts, and experiences are not tangible. Okay, we can try and explain it, but it's not tangible. You can't really touch them, analyze them, or know them. Okay, it has to be put in words. And so it's going to get lost in translation, is what I'm trying to say. So now these ideas, thoughts, and experiences, they can be therefore manipulated and fabricated very easily because they're not tangible. And it would be impossible for us humans to know the real from the virtual. And trust me when I say this, that this metaphysical aspect of the power of these ideas, thoughts, and experiences has been cracked by many on this earth, this timeline that we live in. And it is being used as a means to exercise control. Ideas are being fed very strongly in us, and It is being advocated by the infected ones to the ones that are not. Okay, and anyone against it is on the other side of the humanity, branded as a traitor who's, against the world. And that's the power of thoughts. So now I'll read another excerpt and we'll connect it to thought again. And in this one, actually, it is E Club, which is questioning Zenith. If you want, we can do that. But I was talking about memory, your memory. Do you not rerun experiences? So to that, Zenith responds, I do. Sometimes memory playback is involuntary. Sometimes I don't even know if they are my real experiences. I see myself in it, but I don't remember being there. So again, Zenith is actually trying, Zenith and Iklav have been through many conversations here, okay? So she's essentially archiving all of these information that she's gathering from him. So she is a memory storage device, but she doesn't know that. So to her, Iklav is responding now by saying that that could be a deeper memory or mind manipulation. Manipulation? By whom? So Iklav tells her, need to get destroyed. It is strong. It feeds thoughts and ideas via the mind network, moving you closer to the end. So in this conversation, basically, Zenith is haunted by some deep memories that she cannot actively recall or actively connected to her memory of experience. So she is witnessing it, but there's a disconnect where she thinks that this is not her memory. So Iklav is explaining to her the universal truth, where everything is moving towards destruction and becoming antimatter. So, because there is opposite of everything, okay, for balancing purposes. And I will discuss this in great detail in my next podcast in future. But what Iklav is trying to tell her is that, it's manipulation, basically. And the whole manipulation of these thoughts, ideas, memories, experiences, whatever you want to call it, is basically just so we move closer to the end and get destroyed. Okay, now back to thought. In my book, I have cited that the happiest person doesn't have much of anything. And again, it's a quote from my book where it says, thought, wealth, emotional range, brain capacity. One who does not draw parallels or comparisons. They do not have choices, giving them the freedom to be ignorant. And that is truly bliss. Now, because we are infected with the idea that tells us we can have so much, or we have the knowledge that others have so much, and so we set goals by comparing ourselves with them, taking the freedom to exist away from ourselves, contrary to what we believe actually in this world, that choices are great. I have theorized in my book that it is actually taking the freedom to exist away from us. Okay, and we are spawning new parallels, forking into another by making all of these choices. And so there is yet another character, Asher, who is actually parallelly existing or is an avatar of the main character. And so I'm going to read something that he said in book 2 of the series, which ties in perfectly with I just said before. So he's saying, if you are existing in life, then there is no room for ideas, thoughts, or either one of those. So when I wrote Asher saying this, my singular reason was that if we are not cushioned by luxuries of life, if we are not living in this artificial society, and if we were living out there the way we were supposed to, just like the other animals are, then the nature is unrelenting and unforgiving. We would constantly be struggling to survive, trying to get trying to feed ourselves, trying to reproduce and move forward. And then, only then, we will not have room for ideas, thoughts, or any one of those, Again, humans have progressed so much that they are relentlessly being bombarded with ideas and thoughts. And it is again steering us toward destruction nonetheless. So we have not changed anything. It still remains the same, no matter how fantastic your next idea or thought is. The only place we will ever reach is the end and be destroyed. Thank you.